Just a boy in his pajamas and dinosaur boots going to see some baby deer, I guess. All right, let's go feed animals first. We gotta do the pigs. Okay. What's up, guys? Staying here from Rocky Creek. This is like real life homesteading. It's not the glamorous made up thing. I just got up a while back, had me a cup of coffee. Got a little man out here. He's gotten into the habit of really liking to feed the pigs and animals with me. So yeah, everybody else is asleep. He's in his pajamas with his rubber boots on, and I'm in what I slept in my rubber boots, and we're gonna get these guys fed, and then we're gonna talk about a little issue that I got going on with the coop door that we got from Chickcozy a few months back. So let's get these guys fed and then let's talk about that. Look at this little goober. What are you doing, bud? You're cracking them? I like your outfit.
I'm just gonna pull that up and I'm gonna whack it.
No. Good morning, piggies. Y'all ready to eat? It's been extremely hot here lately, and temperatures have been like in the mid to upper 90s with really high humidity, so it's really hard on the pigs. And so I got 4 water dishes here that I'll fill up in the morning, and then I'll also fill them again in the afternoon. That seems to hold them over pretty well. Also got their big pool I can put in here if I choose to do so. The big guys don't seem to be using the pool as much. They kind of just been making their own little waller, but the little guys, they've been using their turtle pool quite a bit, so I'll fill that one up when I get to those guys. But you got to keep your pigs plenty hydrated because they do not do well in the heat. Takes a bit of time for those things to fill up, so while they're filling up, I'm going to show you something really cool that I showed y'all before, but it's really taking off now. So there's Big Mama's old pen, the food forest that has become her old pen, and it's over in abundance with tomatoes and different kinds of squashes and stuff. I'm trying to find, some of these plants are getting so heavy that they're falling over because they're not really staked, but you can see like there's tomato there. You got more tomatoes there. I don't know if you can see, but like there's like a squash growing down there in the bottom. I knew there was plenty of big tomatoes growing, but I guess we got a cluster of some cherry style tomatoes growing as well. So it looks like we will have a pretty decent variety. And then I also just noticed, let's see if I can see it. Maybe you can see it right there. I'm not sure that's going to be a squash or a pumpkin or what, but I've been noticing a lot of flowers on the squash plants in this pig pen, but none of them had really started producing as far as I could tell, other than those one squash I showed you. But something tells me I think this might become a pumpkin. So time will tell. But this thing is just slap full right now of tomatoes and squashes of different kinds. Maybe you can see behind me, maybe that'll give you an idea of how vast that really is. So it's really wild, you know, a pig not being in here for only a handful of months getting into the growing season. And literally, it's just a random food forest. Originally, I was gonna pop this gate open and give these guys twice as much room to run, but everything took off so much in there, I kind of just thought I'd let it run, see what it does, produce as much food as it can. I'll grab what I can, and then maybe at one point, when I turn them in there, they're gonna have food galore. But either way, it's free. I haven't done anything paid for it, really. So we're just gonna see what does grow and what doesn't grow, and we might get some stuff out of there out of curiosity. If not, it's gonna be free food for the pigs, so it's pretty cool. Well, you wanna help feed the chickens? Huh? What's up, hey?
What's up, hey?
You say, what's up, hey? What's up, Miss Gertie? How you doing? Iris, don't get jealous. Don't get jealous. Don't start. All right, which one you want? You want all right, now it's gonna be heavy. You got it? All right, guys, so I told you I had an issue with my Chickcozy door. Those have been with me, you know that that is not the Chickcozy door. That is the omelet door that we've had now for a couple years. And overall, the omelet door has performed very well. It was a bit hard to install, if you will, but overall, it has performed well. We did have one time where it stopped operating properly. The display was saying something weird. I did a reset on it, and then it's been working fine ever since, and I've not really had any issues. Really don't have any issues as long as the key is that I keep the track right here clear of debris, and if I can do that, then it's no problem. So I really never thought I needed another door until we got Miss Wild Thing here, and you can see the problem. But with her being like that, she was getting to where she wasn't letting the chickens into the coop, and I was having to open that big side door to manually let them in, so she kind of couldn't deal with both sides at one time, and the chickens could get roosted up and not be a problem. So Chickcozy reached out to us, for those that haven't been with us, offered me to try out their coop door, talked about how great it was, and I told them, sure, I thought this would be great. It would keep me from having to manually let the chickens in when Gertie's in full-on broodiness, and they could have 2 entry and exit ways that are far from each other, and so they could get in. And it was working out phenomenally. The installation of the Chickcozy door was so much better, and things were going smooth until I started having a problem that I noticed, and I figured out what the problem was. So it's hard for me to give a true comparison as to whether or not the omelet door would have had the same problem or not, but here's the deal. The omelet door is right here, which the way this is set up, you can see this building has about a 16-inch overhang, if you will. So it's extremely rare that I get a lot of water on this door unless the wind is blowing directly in. Other than that, I don't really see it wet very often, so this one doesn't really get issues from water or have to be tested as a result of water. When you come over here to this side, you can see there is really not much of any overhang. This was an old shed that we got from somebody's property. I didn't build this, but at most you maybe have about 3 inches here, but even then the stuff rolls inward, and this side gets very wet. And the top part here sticks out about the width of the top of the roof. So this thing just gets hammered with water. Well, the problem became this battery compartment right here. And you can see right there where there's a little bit of dried up residue. So the way I first figured out I had an issue was when I came out in the morning time to let these guys out, and I noticed this door was partially open and the display screen wasn't working. The first time I thought it was just a weird hiccup because I changed out the batteries. So I took the batteries out, put them right back in, and it worked perfectly. And I thought, okay, it might have just been a weird thing, or maybe a chicken got caught in it, overloaded it or something, I don't know. Well, then it happened 2 more times. And the last time it happened, I pulled the battery compartment out to reset it with the batteries like usual, and I started noticing my hands were burning a little bit. And that's when I realized there was water in the battery compartment, and it caused the batteries inside to start to corrode. And so that's when I realized there was a problem. But here's where Chickcozy really bothered me. So when I figured out what the problem actually was, I sent a thing to Chickcozy and told them, I sent it both to their website and the emails that they originally contacted me on. And I didn't ask for a replacement or anything. I just told them, hey, I want to let you know of an issue that I've discovered with your coop door, and explained to them what was happening. Told them that when I pull the batteries and put them back in, it resets and starts working perfectly fine again. However, they probably need to figure out a way to better seal their battery compartments so other people don't have the same issue. And it's been maybe a month now, and I've heard zero from Chickcozy related to that. So although the door may be very easy to install and typically functions very well, I'm gonna have to go ahead and say their customer service pretty much sucks. So That's one thing to be mindful of. I guess it's kind of something that you get when a door is slightly cheaper, is that you're going to have some areas that maybe things are going to downfall. And I don't usually try to say anything bad about companies, but however, I am very honest about my stuff. And, you know, I do think this door works well, and I have a plan to fix the problem, because outside of a hard rainy day, it's working flawlessly. But I need to address the issue, and Chickcozy really should address the issue, or at least respond to your customer saying what was going on. I didn't even ask for anything. I just want to bring up a problem, and it'd be nice to at least just get an acknowledgement of, hey, thanks for it, and we'll be sure to see what we can do. We'll let you know if we can troubleshoot it better. So let's talk about my plan and what I'm going to do to try to fix this. So all I'm going to do is I have some scrap metal roofing, of which is red, so it'll match my door here pretty good. But I'm going to build basically like a roof, a lean-to roof that's going to come off of this. And I'm going to probably have it come out to about here, so there's plenty of coverage in the rain. And I'd like to make it to where maybe it comes down on the sides to where it would block. So even if it came from the side, the rain won't get into this port right here. So right now though, what I need to do, because I went ahead and just left the batteries out of it so I wouldn't have it malfunctioning again, and just left it in the closed position and went back to my old ways. They're not calling for any rain all week. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the batteries in. Number one, to make sure the door is even still working before I waste my time. If the door is working, then we're going to go ahead and start working on this roof overhang to prevent it from getting wet in the future. Well, at least it seems to still be working. That's the one good thing. It kind of had a little bit of a delay when I put the batteries in. I was a little worried, but it seems to be doing fine now. So every time you put the batteries in though, it does recalibrate itself to opening and closing. So this isn't uncommon. All right, so it seems to be working good. We're gonna leave it be. I'm gonna go inside and get changed up and get out of this weird outfit that I have on that I slept in. Get G-Man inside, we'll get him squared away. And we're gonna go ahead and start working on building this cover for this thing. All right guys, so we're back out here at the coop, and have you ever like had an initial idea and then very soon after the idea, you're like, wait, there's a simpler solution. Why am I trying to make this more difficult than it needs to be? Well, that's exactly what I think I've done with this whole roof covering the Chickcozy door, and I'm actually not going to be building a roof, at least not yet. So there's a change of plans. I thought what I could easily do after I thought about it was this feed cover right behind me that we've been using for the chickens as a way to keep the feed dry and to protect them from hawks is literally going in the direction that I need to provide a roof cover for the existing door. And I'm going to do one other thing to try to seal it off a little better, but I thought if I try this first and it actually seems to be working continuously, then maybe I should look at investing and taking the time to do a permanent roof structure that's actually attached to the coop. But why waste the time until I can do the test run? Or this may just prove to be sufficient enough and I just use this and it's completely free and doesn't take up any time. So let's get this moved over in place, and then I'll show you what I'm going to try to do to give just a little extra water protection. All right, so it's not the most aesthetically appealing, obviously, but it covers it perfectly. And so you can see there's a coop door, and I just have the platform running, and it actually comes right to the edge right here. And the chickens can use that no problem. And I'm actually thinking that if I end up liking this way that it is, and I decide to leave this here permanently, I can always overlay the existing shingles with the metal roofing and make it look a little better. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. After all, it's just a functional chicken coop. But now the only thing I do want to do is I want to try to minimize maybe any moisture getting between the seam here. So I actually, believe it or not, bought a can of that Flex Seal spray, and I think I'm just going to do one layer across there just to add a little extra water protection. I've never used Flex Seal, but I do know some people that have used it for little things like this, and it actually worked pretty good. The only downfall is it will put some black across the edge of the coop here, but I'm not overly concerned about that. I can always just repaint it down the road if I need to. I'm definitely not one for as seen on TV products, but we'll give it a try. So there's where I sprayed it across right there. And what I went ahead and did too, where I had nailed, you can see like there's a nail, there's a nail. They have washers and they're a specific roofing type of a nail. And as far as I know, this thing wasn't leaking, but just in case, I went ahead and sprayed over where I have those roofing nails holding this top layer of shingles on, and thought maybe give it just a little extra coating. But you can see in some spots, maybe you can see it, in some spots it looks like it did like a rubber sealant to give a little better water protection. But then there's some areas where the gap is really big that I think I'm gonna have to use some kind of filler to be able to use this. But at the end of the day, it wasn't gonna hurt it, and it's not the most aesthetically pleasing. But if I end up overlaying it with the other roofing material, we won't see it at the end of the day. And then this coop itself, I mean, it does need repainting every so many years anyways, and so it won't be a big deal if I have to repaint over that. But yeah, I think this will be a much better working option that I have, and I can still put their feed, you know, door right there, I can still put their feed over to the side right here, and I can still use it for the same purpose that we've been using it before, to keep the feed dry. And if anything, it stays a lot more shaded over here, and they do tend to like to be over here in the shade. So I think it'll all work out. At least it'll be a good test run before I invest too much, to see if this will eliminate our problem that we've had with the Chickcozy door. Well guys, I think that's gonna about wrap it up here today. I wanted to come to you though and give you, I told you when I originally did the Chickcozy door that I'd give an update after a few months of giving it a run, to let you know what my long-term thoughts of it was, because my initial thoughts of it was pretty impressive, but longevity and functionality and customer service and all those things you deal with after the fact are very important. And so far, if I keep the water off of it, it's operating great. So if this will work, then things will be good, and it'll still be a great door and a great option for people at a smaller price tag than what the omelet door was. But I will say, buyer beware. Customer service thus far has not been great. I've got nothing from them. So if you do buy one early on and you start to have an issue, I'm not sure what kind of support you might be able to get, and for a lot of people that's really important. I do know a friend of mine that had the omelet door, had some issues, reached out to them, and they replaced their door. So you got to balance what's most important. But we'll see if this alleviates it for right now, and we'll keep you up to date on that. But I told you I would bring you an update, so here it is. But guys, until next time, I hope everybody's doing okay, and we'll see you here real soon on one of the next episodes. Bye guys.